I really appreciate the time that you guys are giving me, and I know that the time is short, so we'll keep this really brief, and I know Victor already got us started. But as you're looking at these questions, the other thing that I want you guys to start thinking about is what kind of equipment, if you wanted to create a program here, what kind of equipment do you need? Rather than just thinking about the Fitness Arch, what qualities do they need? That was really the question that I started with, because what this gal is doing over there, that was my job. Okay, I was building fitness programs in retirement communities, and what I saw is that people walk to the chair, they walked out of the chair, but for exercise they sat. It's set for exercise, right? But it obviously makes sense because we're afraid of falls. So, you know, as a trainer, I said, okay, stand up, go behind the chair, and exercise that way. Until one person decides to fall backwards, the chair falls on them, they were okay, that scared me half to death. So I said, there's gotta be a better way. And the second experience that I had was that I was doing personal training, individual training with people. And one individual in particular with power chair. And I was sitting on the ground holding a rubber band, and he was doing some exercise. And I thought, I'm really an overpaid doorstop. I mean, this is really not gonna work. So those two experiences is what really, about 4 years ago, started me on this. And so when you look at different equipment for any program, 5 things to consider are those. Is it safe? Is it accessible? Is it comprehensive? Is it user-friendly? And is it portable and compact? Because space is an issue, right? So those are the key aspects that I started with. And so as a result, you see here, right? So I'll just quickly run through some of the functions, and then I want to open it up to questions, feedback, and then you guys can come in and play with it if you'd like. The first piece that I want to mention is that, how many of you are therapists? So first of all, who is here? I know Iris.
I'm Nancy, and I'm the manager for the TBI program.
Perfect, okay. And
I'm Jean, I'm program manager for the Adult Day Home.
Adult Day Home, okay. And
I'm Renee, I'm a restorative aide here.
Restorative aid? Is it like OT or
Occupation.
occupational? Perfect. Okay.
I'm a restorative aide also.
Restorative aid, okay, excellent. So now I know where you guys are coming from. So definitely I'm thinking OT, okay? I'm thinking OT. I've been around hospitals and stuff. So first is obviously you're familiar with bands. So that's one of the reasons why we started this, is band-wise, right? You have some bands. The key here is that this band cannot be broken, or should not be broken. And the idea is it has a cord inside, so you can't overstretch it. That's one of the key aspects of the machine. And then obviously they have all different resistances, and you guys are familiar with that. The key to this machine is this exercise bar, okay? So this is one of those patented pieces, and as I mentioned and I demonstrated already, you can change the resistance without needing to change bands. And in my experience, even people with severe cerebral palsy or TBI can actually do it themselves. Okay, so they press down and they move it, or I help them move it, right, with their leg or with the arm. But they do it themselves, and then you say, hey, you know, good job, you know, change the weight, excellent. And we decided to put it neutral, drive 1, drive 2, rear 1, rear 2, because we're putting them in the driver's seat, right? So they're driving this thing themselves. And as you saw with Victor, it took no time to get them to understand how to use it. The one thing that I didn't get a chance to demonstrate with Victor is that when this is unlocked, right, the other key aspect of it is that you can actually stretch.
I was going to ask you about that, actually.
Right, so that's the key aspect to this, that especially for people like Eddie's mom, this is key. And the other piece is they do it themselves. You can do it too. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for causing necessary pain. You know, I've been a trainer for too long not to enjoy it. But also for a TBI program, one thing that we did is we have these. You know, we have clips so we can actually secure their feet into the footrest, right? So that's the key aspect. So I kind of, Victor already demoed how this machine works in terms of strength and flexibility. What I want to focus on is the more advanced functions of it that you guys can use in order to create A, fall prevention program, B, strength training program, and whatnot, right? Because the one other aspect that we're going to talk about a little later is cost effectiveness. there's a way that this machine might not cost you anything, okay? If you and might actually make revenue for the community. That's the goal. So one piece is that adjustability. You already saw how these open and close. Someone asked us how easy it is to adjust, right? You can adjust, you can make it to a munchkin, munchkin size. And you can actually create, and then the seat moves forward and back as well, right? So you can actually adjust it to your patient's needs, right? Also the seat folds up, right? So, and that is one of those key aspects. So now that it's folded up, okay? Or if I'm to put it back down, the whole concept still is this idea that I can allow myself to stand up, okay? I can get somebody, I can teach somebody, I'll do it just so you guys have a good visual, right? I can help somebody to stand up, right? And now that they're standing, they have two things. They're fully protected, okay? And there are ways to protect even further. And second is they can always sit down. And third is they're not claustrophobic. There's nothing in their field of vision that really makes them feel that they're enclosed, which is helpful on many different levels. The other piece is if you do fold it up, right? And this is why I'm doing this to begin with. This idea of I can do what I always wanted to do, which is do exercises with people who otherwise are afraid to stand, right? So here they are, okay? If you have someone who has no balance or very little balance, so even this is dangerous, okay? The arch, I have it in the bus, but right? The arch can handle 700 pounds easy, right? So we have a harness, and if you guys have a better harness than mine, even better. But the idea is you can actually have someone fully supported, and they can do the exercises while they're fully supported.
You have a harness for when they're standing.
Yeah. So you can have paralyzed people stand, and not just stand, but walk. Because once these are unlocked, I can see the eyes go like, okay,
We
yeah, I
have
can
a
see it.
standing frame, and so this is a lot like our standing frame
But
with
yeah.
a Hoyer kind of a concept in it.
Right, exactly. So the standing frame, but what you get here is you actually get an actual exercise and passive range of motion on the legs, especially if they're completely paralyzed. So, and we can make it non-weight bearing, right, with a harness. So that's one of those key aspects. Hello.
This is Mr. Donovan, the
great.
owner of the company.
Don?
Appreciate you being here.
It's a pleasure. My name is Leo.
Good to see you.
Hi.
So I was just showing them that one of the benefits of this machine is that when these bars are locked, you have the ability to have someone standing safely. And in case you have someone who has paralysis or is not partially weight bearing or non-weight bearing, we have a harness that you can actually click in. And then they can utilize the bars when it's moving. Both legs and arms and legs to be able to do. Now, when I do these presentations, a lot of people are like, man, that's exactly, this is exactly it. But the thing is, that's how this machine was designed, right? It was designed by therapists, for therapists, and that was the idea. Do you guys use, for occupational therapy, do you guys use balls at all for balance, those green ones?
Not
Let me
for
refrain-
balance.
let me
Not
ref-
for balance.
Yeah.
No, we do not.
Let me rephrase this. Would you find that useful if you could use it? No?
No.
Okay, so because they would be too unstable?
Right.
Okay, well, I'm gonna demo just one thing on this then, and you guys get to try it later on, okay? So, but this is this does not move, right? So it is a sheet, and then you can balance on it. In case if you do have someone who can have more balance, they can have this.